And whatever's here is okay. And whatever's here doesn't need to be solved or figured out. And whatever's here, you have the capacity to experience. For sure. Because you've already registered it. That's the trick of the mind. The mind will say, I can't handle this yet. I need to learn to do more shadow work so I can handle this. But it's already there, right? So again, there's a strange thing about all of what we're talking about, that when I talk about capacity, the capacity is already there. You just don't have to run away from it. You don't have to dissociate from it. That's what you're really learning. And you also learn the sneaky ways that you dissociate or run away. You learn what it feels like to kind of feel that, because sometimes I call it an off ramp, like an off ramp from intensity. You can feel like, oh, I see how I could dissociate here. Could run away from this, but do I have to? So just learning the mechanisms, seeing the mechanisms more closely, all that's helpful. And then relating it to traumas. And it often, well, it always will relate to trauma if there's trauma. Sometimes it's primarily focused on one specific trauma or a certain trauma pattern. Sometimes it's more pervasive. But these off ramps, these mechanisms of, nope, don't want to feel this too much, I'm going to go away. You can see them through the trauma finally. And that's what rectifies the trauma. It doesn't feel like a healing so much. You could probably consider that, but I'd say most people who go through this, it doesn't feel like healing so much. It just feels like clear seeing and release. Releasing yourself from the persona that was built out of strategies. And when you release yourself from the persona, from the covering, from the outward framework, then you do drop in. You do feel like, oh, that's who I really am. And you're primarily, relatively speaking, primarily a feeling being. We did some really good work encircling this week, but that was one of the main things last night. It's like dropping in and realizing, oh, I'm primarily a feeling being, and all the traumas and strategies and challenges and mental processes that have been there all these years and challenged me in all these ways. Those are not what I am, actually. They were built and hobbled together just by challenging situations that I didn't know how to navigate. And all of a sudden, all that can just drop. And it's like, oh, I can just feel, just be here. And I can empathize and be totally present with people in a way that's not a problem. Unapologetically feeling, being here. And with that comes a kind of settledness, okayness. The phrase that often comes is feeling comfortable in your own skin or your own two shoes. And it's tragically uncommon. Many people here know what I mean by this. And a lot of people here live this way now. And everyone here can. But it's amazing to me every time someone's really surprised that they can actually experience it. Because it is so natural. It's not some mystical altered state at all. It's just naturalness. But to really feel comfortable in your own shoes of like, yeah, it's fine. I'm fine. Being who I am without constructing who I am. Being who I am without an interface. Being who I am without coping mechanisms that are kind of a buffer between me and the world, or me and people, including the closest people to you. You can be surprised even when some of those buffers drop away. Like, oh, the person I thought I was the most authentic with, like I was in some way, and then there was a couple ways I totally wasn't actually. And that's just a buffer. It's a barrier that's built out of trauma responses, fears, dissociative patterns. It's like, oh, I can just be fully authentic, vulnerable, natural. And that's where the individual naturalness, the individual autonomy meets that communal resonance that I was mentioning. It's like you feel, and all of this is in the relative. Like I'm trying to be clear about that. There's a whole absolute aspect to all this too, and that all comes in alignment with this. But the sense of just being okay in my own skin, and whatever comes up, whomever I just bump into, like I know it's going to be fine. I'm not worried about it. Uh, even the idea that some people may like me, some people may not. Some people may accept me, some people may not. Sorry, I'm maybe fighting off a sneeze. Not fighting it off, it's just not coming. Okay. Yep, I guess it's not coming. Yeah. Yeah, this kind of equanimity of it's like a relational equanimity. Like whatever appears is fine. Whoever I bump into is okay. There's no way that the interactions have to go, because I'm not going to fabricate myself or some version of myself. And that is your place in the tribe. Like that resonance is pretty direct. That feels very similar to the feel of the cohesiveness of the tribal experience or the communal experience. That you can kind of feel where you are in the whole interaction. Like in a room like this, in a small group of people, in a large group of people, with a partner, with a friend. It's like you just kind of feel like it's all in balance. The relational nature of human interactions, it's in balance. There's nothing to be fixed about it. So then relationship isn't a problem. It's kind of just another flavor of enjoyment. You don't have to hold on to it or cling to it. You don't have to try to improve it or fix it. You don't have to be distracted with it. We also don't reject it. It's just part of the texture of conventional life. And there's a real beautiful balance there. The personal equanimity and the sort of relational equanimity, or the communal feeling. This is what I think shadow work is really good at. It really shines with this. Even independent of the awakening axis. At some point, I think the awakening axis and what I'm talking about become interwoven. And short of someone who just has to wake up, like that's it. Like that's where my life path is. There's nothing else is going to satisfy. Short of that, I would say the one thing you can do that will make your life work better, that will give you deep satisfaction, that will bring you to a place where you know you've lived a good life, would be this shadow work path I'm talking about. But when they're infused together, when there is true insight, deep realization, and you're aligned in this relative way I'm talking about, the personal equanimity, the sort of cohesive communal equanimity, and energetic equanimity at the deepest level, the energetic identity sort of level, which is non-dual, like it is the experience of form and formlessness being interpenetrated. Yeah, all these things I try to say in words, I can't say in words, but that's also here clearly. It's just wonderful. It's a very nice way to live, satisfying, aligned, adaptable, bright. Living with a deep, settled, intuitive wisdom that says nothing has to change, nothing does change, nothing comes and goes. Birth and death are interrelated, and they're also essentially an illusion. You can live that way. And also lean in so fully to the relative world that you don't need to negate it either. You just enjoy it, because why not? It's not a problem. It's not a problem.